Are you thinking about starting HRT? Or are you wondering about what the impacts will be to you emotionally, physically, mentally if you do start HRT? I think this video might be for you. So let's get at it. My name is Madden, and I live in Calgary, Alberta. I'm passionate about community, creativity, and collaboration. And in today's video, I just want to talk about some of the emotional changes, the psychological changes that I've experienced over the last 15 months on hormone replacement therapy, or HRT. I was really comfortable as a male. I have a great job, pays really well. I had a beautiful family, beautiful wife, beautiful house. I was really living a lot of people's dreams. But I wasn't happy. I was totally disconnected from all of that. Never at peace. And in terms of never being at peace, this would always lead me to a question is, what would provide that? This led to years of research, really, where when I finally took those steps to find normal, it led me to something called informed consent. And where I live in Alberta, that's something you can do. You just need to know where to go. And so I started asking around, friends of friends, and I had 4 different people point me in the same direction towards a doctor. And if you want to know who that is, send me a message. I'll let you know, and you can go see him yourself. But you need to take that first step. And what I found with that first step, those first few steps, was really going through a process of a lot of tests, blood work, physical tests. They want to make sure you're emotionally and mentally stable. They want to make sure you know what you're doing, that they're protecting themselves with regards to informed consent form for feminizing medications. So I signed a lot on that. Signed more on that than I signed on my mortgage, on my marriage, on my divorce, on my signatures on that more than anything. And so, yeah, you get an opportunity to really understand what are the different options out there from a medical, pharmaceutical perspective, but also what are they going to do to you? And there really is no room for error here. You're not left in any doubt of the permanent impact it'll have. After a certain period of months, you will be sterile. You will be essentially chemically castrated, has been my experience. Physically, you're going to change, and some of those changes happen pretty rapidly, and others have taken longer. I'm mostly pretty happy with the physical changes, but today's video is more about the emotional changes, and you can go check out another video I did a few weeks ago talking more about the physical changes. Through all those steps, jumped through the hoops, and I got my hormones. Or my titty skittles, or my antihistamines, or whatever you want to call them. They really are wonderful and a magic drug, whether it be your blocker. So I started on Cipro, got switched to Spiro about 5-6 months in. Personally, Spiro works so much better for me. Physically, I noticed changes in my skin almost immediately. Took my testosterone to 0. I have 0 testosterone in my body, and I like it. Others haven't had the same experience, and that's why it's important to work with your doctor and understand your blood work and your levels and where everything's working. I also take progesterone. Some trans girls will cycle their progesterone to mimic a menstrual cycle. I take it because of my age, and the doctor wants to make sure that I don't die of a blood clot. So progesterone. I've read multiple reports online that this provides some rounding with the breast as it develops. I don't know. After 40 years of testosterone poisoning, just the way my chest is developed, I don't think it's doing anything. But I take it because my doctor tells me to take it. And then, of course, estrogen. I started at 2 milligrams a day. I'm now up to 8 milligrams a day. I take it 4 in the morning, 4 in the evening. I find that works for me. And you might read stuff about taking it sublingually. I tried that, and my estrogen levels shot through the roof to 5 times a cisgender woman. And that was on 2 milligrams a day. So I don't know if that's a me thing physically, but I'm not sure it's a good idea, just based on my doctor's reaction to the blood. What's going on here? Do what your doctor says. That's what I learned in that moment. The end goal here wasn't always just the physical, although that was certainly some of the early stuff to think about. But what were the foundational changes that were occurring? And I think that was the first thing I was able to really identify. It's about 6 weeks in, was that emotions weren't frustrating anymore. I was able to access emotion and to feel emotion in a way I'd never been able to previously. I could process complex, nuanced, heart-rending situations. And it wasn't that it was fun, it was just that it was new. It was exciting to just feel this, to be released. And I think just being able to access and articulate emotion was probably the biggest first change, and probably over the 1.5 years, 15 months or whatever I've been on hormones, probably the most significant impact to my life. My former partner will tell you I was moody as anything, and she has a few stronger words to use to describe me, but that's her story. I think at the end of the day, I was real. Finally real. I was finally here. I was authentic and able to just be present. Oh, tears. Get ready for tears. Let me tell you about tears. They come when I'm frustrated, when I'm angry, when I'm tired, when I'm annoyed. They come when I'm scared, when I'm nervous, stressed. I cry at work. I cried during my performance review with my boss. I cry at home. I cry around the kids. I cried during divorce negotiations with my former partner. And I'm able to cry without becoming overwhelmed or flooded. It's a cathartic thing now. It's a freeing and liberating thing. And I do cry tears of sadness, really around my kids when I think about different things with them. Just a lot of heartbreak with that. But the tears, by and large, are freeing and liberating. I've also noticed I'm less aggressive. So when I think about who I used to be or who he could get aggressive and hostile in circumstances. And that's not to say I don't get aggressive, I don't get hostile, but it's much different. And it's not my first response anymore, which is really kind of cool. And that leads me to thinking about what's changed. And in short, everything. From how I view the world, how the world views me, to how I am able to engage and interact with the world. My marriage is obviously over. Lost my house. My job is still fine. I work for a very supportive employer, and I'm very lucky to work there. But there have been consequences, and not to say negative consequences. Some of the consequences can be positive. So anxiety would be, I think, the most significant development in my life, and just dealing with that in a way that I've never dealt with previously in my life. Sobriety. And I don't know if sobriety is permanent, but it is something that sobriety is something that I am living today and have been for the last couple of months, and most likely will for at least another month. But the reason I really wanted to become sober was because I noticed the anxiety was magnified after drinking. And it happened once I entered female range. And so I wanted to I had too much to deal with, and I wanted to just free my brain. I think another great thing is that because I'm finally authentic, is the relationships, the friendships are I've just met some really great people, and the friendships that I had have deepened. And so I'm so grateful for everyone in my life, and I get to finally say I love my life and the people in it. It's not that I'm changed. I think it's more that I'm repaired after 40 years of testosterone poisoning and running on the wrong fuel. And so I've had my fuel tank emptied. It's been refilled with the right stuff. And yeah, it cost a lot, and it certainly changed a lot. But to finally feel normal has made it all worth it. It used to be that I wasn't hopeful for the future. It used to be that I wanted an early death. And now I am finally hopeful for the future. I'm looking forward, despite all the stress that I deal with today. I'm looking forward to the future for the first time ever in my life. So, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, comment down below. And here's to life.